Okay, this is going to cover notes number 9, writing in vertex form. So this second part of Unit 5 is where we are going to start writing a lot more. The first part was going over just graphing. Now we're going to do a lot more of the writing. So what we are going to do first is we're just going to go over our vertex form. Remember, our vertex form is the y equals a x minus h squared plus our k. So a couple things. Our a value still tells us a lot of information. It tells us whether parabola is going to open up, and that means our a value is positive, or if our a value is negative, it's going to open down. And then we have our h and our k, which are our vertex. So remember, h lies, k tells the truth. So our h value is always going to be opposite what's in there. So if our h is -5, our vertex is going to be, x value is going to be a +5. So on this first one, vertex is right there. So our vertex is -2, 3. So this is our h, this is our k. And then it says the quadratic, it has an a value of 2. So how we find that a value is you always go over 1 from your vertex. Because remember, you're over up, you go over 1, and then it's how many go up or down. So this one we went over 1, and since we go down, it's going to be a negative, and we went down 2, so it's -2. So that is how we got our a value. So taking all that information and writing it in our vertex form, which is the y a x minus h squared plus my k, my answer is going to be y equals my a, which is -2, in parentheses, x minus a -2, so it's going to be a +2 squared, and then plus my k, which is 3. And that is my vertex form. So another thing, the a value also tells us if our function is stretched or compressed. So stretches and compresses the function vertically. So that's where it makes it skinnier or narrower or wider. Okay. Going down to writing in vertex form, so we'll have different information from both of these. So the first one, it says our a value is 1/2, and then we have to find our vertex. So our vertex right here is 3, -4. So it gives us everything we need for our vertex form, because this is our h, this is our k, and this is our a value. So y equals our a, x minus my h squared, and then plus my k. My k is -4, so I'm just going to put -4. And that's your vertex form. Okay, now your a value on number 2, you're given a table, and you would have to graph those points. So 0, 3, 1, 0, 2, -1, 3, 0, and 4, 3. That is my vertex, or that is my parabola. This is my vertex. So this point right here is my vertex. So 2 ways you can find your a value for this. 1, you can look at your graph. We went over 1 and we went up 1. So your a value is 1. Or you can see, find your vertex, and then going to the next point is 1. So that is also my a value. So that's 2 different ways you can find it. So the a value for this graph is 1. So we have our vertex. So this is my h, this is my k. So y equals 1, parentheses, x minus my h squared plus my k. Okay, going down to the next one, it gives us our vertex and our a value, so it gives us everything we need. So this is our h, this is our k. So y equals, our a is -1, so -1, x minus our h, so -1 squared, and then plus my k, which is 5. Almost okay there. And that is your vertex form. Okay, let's go to the next page. Okay, so this first one is taking into account our word problem. So it says the goalie for the Capital Cavaliers soccer team kicks the ball a maximum height of 20 yards. So max height of 20 yards after flying a horizontal distance of 50 yards. Assuming the soccer ball is kicked from 0, 1, write a quadratic equation in vertex form representing the path of the ball. So if we were to draw our picture, this ball starts at 1, it goes up, and then it comes back down. It reached a maximum height of 20 yards after flying 50 yards. So our vertex is going to be 50, 20. Now, you're like, well, how am I going to put this in vertex form? I have no a value, because this is our formula we have to use to get it into vertex form. The y equals a x minus h squared plus our k. We have our h and we have our k, but we have no a value. That's where this ordered pair they give us comes into account. This is going to be your x and this is going to be your y. We're going to plug those in and then we're going to find our a value. So our y is 1. Our a we don't know, so we're going to keep it as a. Our x is 0 minus my h, which is 50, squared, plus my k, which is 20. And then we are going to solve this. So the first thing you are going to do is we want to 0 minus 50 is negative 50. Negative 50 squared is going to give you 2,500 plus 20 minus that 20. So you're going to get negative 19 equals 2,500a. And then your last step is to divide by 2,500. And this is going to give you a crazy decimal. So negative 19 divided by 2,500 is going to give you negative 0.0076. So then we're going to take that and we're going to plug it back into vertex form. However, we are not going to have, we're just going to have our x and our y as our letters, not our numbers anymore. So y equals negative 0.0076, parentheses, x minus 50 squared, and then plus my 20. So this one has multiple steps to it, so make sure you are practicing this. We're going to continue practicing this problem throughout the unit because it is an important one that you need to know. Okay, going down to the next problem. It says complete the table to show if the given quadratic function's characteristics are the same or different. We have two functions. One is still an equation. The other one we have graphed. So let's look at this one. This one has a vertex of 2, 3. And then it looks like our a value, because we just went down 1, our a value is 1. Those are the two things I want to make sure I find every single time. Okay, I need to pull up, give me a second, I'm going to pull up my graphing calculator. Okay, so what we are going to do is we're going to graph that first one in our graphing calculator, and then we're going to compare it. So in our graphing calculator, y equals 2 parentheses x minus 2 squared plus my k. Okay, so I want to look. This one, it looks like they're vertexes because this one looks like the vertex is right there at 2, 3. So the vertexes are about the same. However, they open differently. One's a min, one vertex is a min, one's a max. The ranges are different because one goes up and one goes down. So let's kind of look at and compare these. So we just stated that the vertex was the same, and I'll kind of sketch this one. So this one was at 2, 3, but it was going like this. Okay, so their vertexes were the same. Since their vertexes are the same, your axis symmetry is the same also. Because this one has an axis of symmetry of x equals 2, and so does this one. Min max value. This one is a min. while this one is a max. So that is the difference. Domain will always be the same because it's all real numbers. Your ranges are also going to be different because one's a min, one's a max. One values are going to go down, the other one's going to be up. Opening direction is also different because the first one's opening up and the second one, so this one's opening up and this one's opening down. So that is the difference between those two. Okay, let me know if you guys have any questions on that. You guys are good to get started on your homework now.